Statistics show that over 21 million people globally abuse without any real opportunity for cure. Drug abuse and addiction is a worldwide health and social problem. It affects both the rich and the poor. What is drug abuse? What kinds of drugs are being abused? These and more will form our focus on Panorama, coming to you from Lagos Network Center. But first, the news making the headlines. I am Ademola Adeoye. Stay tuned. We shall be back shortly. Acting President Professor Yemi Osinbajo and President Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana have highlighted the critical role Nigeria and Ghana play as a center of peace of ECOWAS in the West African sub-region. This was during a meeting by the two leaders at the official residence of the acting president in Abuja. State House correspondent Jide Onifade brings us the details.
Acting President Yemi Osinbajo thanked President Nana Akufo-Addo for visiting Nigeria, expressing the nation's excitement about the ECOWAS sub-region and hope that Nigeria and other African countries in the sub-region would be able to do a lot more together. President Nana Akufo-Addo said that his visit was part of an ongoing tour of the sub-region to take stock of what's going on and to renew relations. Discussions between the two leaders also touched on the forthcoming African Union Summit in Addis Ababa, the ongoing negotiations on the Continental Free Trade Agreement, and the revitalization of the Ghana-Nigeria Permanent Joint Commission for Cooperation. Both leaders pledged to intensify bilateral cooperation for the benefit and development of the sub-region. The Ghanaian president also extended his good wishes to President Muhammadu Buhari. From the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Nigerians took advantage of the two-day holiday to catch some fun. Adebola Bruce Lee Sunday, who went around the Federal Capital Territory, followed up as herds of fun seekers trooped to one of the parks and gardens in the city center.
Most of the roads in the metropolis were empty as against what it used to be, only for us to see people heading towards the same direction. But where is this destination they are heading to? Their destination is the largest park in the city, the Millennium Park. And turning our camera lens to the Millennium Park, thousands of Nigerians were seen finding their way into the park. Security officers were on top of their game, screening every phone seeker for the security of lives and property. Phone seekers with their loved ones formed clusters to celebrate.
We celebrate with each other. We are one Nigerian and we are all people, so we need to rejoice with each other. It doesn't matter who is celebrating.
Abdul Mumini Umar Kalangu Band performed to the admiration of the phone seekers.
I greet you for Happy Salah. Congratulations. We are all Muslims of Dunya.
Children were not left out as they engaged themselves in different activities.
We have all come here to celebrate and maybe to have fun with each other.
The strict watch of the security operatives led to the arrest of these three suspects, a development Ajeni Fuja Maruf says will help secure the people.
So whenever there is Salah in future, we recommend more security men to be deployed to organize people to be on the queue. If we have like 10 queues and we have 10 security men doing the checking, it will moderate this rowdiness.
The federal government have declared Monday 26th and Tuesday 27th as public holiday to celebrate this year's Eid al-Fitr. Adebola, Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
And on the flip side, in an unfortunate incident on Sunday night that marked the mood of a day filled with celebrations, 16 persons, including 7 suicide bombers, died in a multiple suicide bomb attacks at the University of Maiduguri. Memuna Garba has the details.
Confirming the suicide attacks, Commissioner of Police Borno State Damian Chukwu said a male suicide bomber detonated his IED near the Rapid Response Service Office building of University of Maiduguri and killed himself and a female security personnel of the institution. While another 2 female suicide bombers Monday early morning detonated their IEDs at 2 different locations within the university premises, killing themselves with no other casualty. Similarly, he said 4 female suicide bombers infiltrated the Nari community in Gwange general area of Jere local government and detonated their IEDs at 2 different locations, killing themselves and 8 other persons, injuring 11 people. Damian Chukwu also disclosed that the 3rd suicide bomber detonated himself alone, while the 4th was arrested and later died as a result of injuries she sustained.
You cannot finish them overnight. The military is dealing serious blows on them at their strongholds in the bushes. And the only way, as I keep saying, the only way they can continue to establish their relevance is through what they are doing now. So we hope that what the state government has put in place with passion, and then the collaboration of all security agencies, very soon incidents of bomb explosion will be a thing of history.
Despite the attacks, Eid al-Fitr is being celebrated peacefully in Maiduguri and in some liberated communities as Eid prayers were held in both Dikwa town and troops camp. Today is traditionally for visitation and the celebrants are busy. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
Former President Goodluck Jonathan says the unity of Nigeria should be paramount in the minds of citizens. He stated this when members of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, visited him in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf reports.
Members led by Kabiru Turaki, a former minister in the Jonathan administration, explains that the visit on the former president being the party leader cuts across religious and ethnic divide.
We also want to appreciate you as the leader of our party in this country today. And we will never get tired of saying we are very, very proud of you. We are proud of your kind and brand of leadership.
Former President Goodluck Jonathan expresses delight for the visit by party members cutting across various sections of the country, which he says signifies the spirit of one Nigeria and emphasizes the need for a conducive atmosphere for the growth and development of the nation.
What improves the economy is confidence. And what makes investors have that confidence is peace.
In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
The 2017 International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking was also celebrated by Nigerians. Here in Lagos, some non-governmental organizations marked the day with a sensitization rally round some major streets in the metropolis. Tunde Saiki, who joined the rally, reports that several persons agree that more enlightenment is needed to curb drug abuse in Nigeria.
June 26th every year has been set aside by the United Nations to mark the Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. The theme for the 2017 day is Listening First, listening to children and youths is the first step to help them grow healthy and safe. At a rally organized in Lagos by Christ Against Drug Abuse Ministry, took off from the Alausa Ikeja area through some major streets and terminated at Acme Road in Lagos, where several leaflets were distributed to residents and motorists. Organizers of the Rally Against Drug Abuse and Trafficking say it is high time more Nigerians are sensitized to avoid discrimination against affected persons, but rather educating them on the dangers of drug abuse.
But our youth are in danger, and parents must be very observant to watch out and look at their children. When they begin to see aberrant behavior, then they do something about it.
It kills, and we don't want that. We don't want to continue to lose our youth to drug abuse.
Some students say they are better informed now on the dangers of drug abuse.
You should not even think about it at all, because it will cause your death, it can cause illnesses, and it can make you do things you did not plan to do.
Destroy someone's future, like where you're supposed to get to, it won't allow you to get there.
As the day is marked worldwide today, It is estimated that over 21 million victims around the world abuse drugs, and the need for all hands to be on deck to assist these persons to have a new lease of life by helping them turn away from drugs. In Lagos, Tunde Saiki, NTA News.
Now, to speak more on drug abuse and the effect on the society, I have with me in the studio the National Coordinator of Christ Against Drug Abuse, Mr. Dokun Adedeji. You are welcome to Panorama.
Thank you very much.
Now, we're talking about drug abuse. What is drug abuse?
Simply, drug abuse is misuse of medications or drugs that sometimes people can get can derive some pleasure from, which is not intended, and appropriate perception, which is not intention of that drug. And then when it becomes a dependence, then it becomes an addiction.
Okay. So, I mean, so it's not necessarily like cocaine, heroin, and India hemp, but other...
absolutely. You see, because in the concept of how it is today, alcohol is one that people abuse. The second one is illicit drugs that you mentioned, cocaine, heroin, and the rest. And then prescription drugs, like tramadol, like all cough syrup with codeine. They are misused, and people get addicted on them. And also some miscellaneous ones like gegemu and all the rest of it that is now available for use.
Okay. Now, let's look at the theme for this year's celebration, which is listening to children and youth is the first step to help them grow healthy and safe. Now, what informed this theme?
I'm sure looking at it and the preponderance of drug use now, and then the dynamics of why this is happening, we find that a lot of young people are getting involved. And why? Because we also find out that many children just live in a vacuum. The parents are there, but there's no discussion, there's no affiliation, there's nothing by which they can share their experiences with their parents. So we're saying, listen to these young people. Listen to the things they feel, the pains they feel, and what their daily experiences are. And when you see that, then you can probably steer them away from something that can put them in the use of drugs. So I guess that's one of the major reasons why this has become the theme for this, and I guess it will probably be subsequent years as well.
Okay, how bad is the situation of drug abuse in Nigeria?
It is very bad. I must say that to you. Although we may say we don't have stark statistics to say, but if you look at this, before 2013, Nigeria used to be a transit nation. But thereafter, we discovered that we became a user nation. For us to transit in that way means that something is happening. And not only that, if you do a random test on our young people, let's say you pick 10 of them in our institutions and do a random drug test, you'll be amazed at the number that will be positive. And from the field experience that we have, if you go with us to the joints, you will see the people there. 2 weeks ago, I was at the particular joint. I saw a boy that was about 10. And not only him, and there were many young girls lying there. Probably the oldest was 18. And then so when you begin to see realities like that, and then the situation getting worse, you need to be scared, and we're frightened by the development.
Now, you work with a lot of these victims of drug abuse.
Yes.
What exactly is their problem? What did they tell you?
You know, it's varied, as the beneficiary says. But the general thing, consensus you will see is the decadence in the society, and then a lack of care and a lack of parental guidance, peer pressure. And then young people just want to experiment. They want to try things. And then the avenues are open to them. And then the internet as well. They watch a lot of these musicians, and they see the glamour. And then that is typified by their lives. And so they say, hey, how can I belong? And then how can I also belong to the hip in the school? And all those kind of pressures on them. And many of these kids go to school too young. I can't imagine why a 14, a 15-year-old should go into university to do what? Even if he graduates, the guy graduates at about 18, there's no mental maturity. He can't be a manager of any business at 18. Only a freak one can. So we must begin to understand the developmental nature of people and the circumstances that must guide their success and achievement in life than rushing children. And many of these parents are not always there. They're out, and then they leave the care of their children to domestic staff. And then the question that I ask them is, a domestic staff, if is that so acute, why is it a domestic staff? So we need to begin to understand those things and then guard against them.
Which means that parents have a big role to play, but they are not playing this role.
Unfortunately, they're not. They're not. You see, because from what we have seen, sometimes you see a set of parents living with the kids, not knowing what their kids do. The parents wake up in the morning at 4 or 5 to go to school. They haven't seen the kids, and then by the time they come back, the kids are sleeping. That's one. In some homes, and then there is parental dysfunction. The mother goes away, the father goes away. So the child, you don't know where he is at a particular time, and also all the kind of things. And parents have abdicated their responsibilities. I mean, you can't give your children to the care of your guard, your driver, and your domestic staff. And parents, yes, I know, they may say economic situation makes both work. I'm not saying women should not work. I don't belong to that. But I think women should work the work that allows them the primary responsibility of looking after the children. And then the father can then add his own masculine responsibility. That would be my view. We're seeing a lot of this today, and I think parents should sit down and begin to understand what values. Many parents are not good role models to their children. I've met people who bring their children to us to say, look, okay, this is it. We talk to the children, but say, hey, but my father takes alcohol, but my father takes marijuana. So if you tell me it's bad, why is my father taking it? And then he's still my father, and he still goes to work. But people forget there are stages, and each person has his own cycle. And so those are, I mean, that's why I keep saying about the dynamics of drug use. We must understand the various stages, and that can help us.
So the government agency, are they actually playing the role, I mean, they're supposed to play?
To be honest with you, with my experience with NDLE and the work we've done together, I think they're doing the bit they can. But I think they can do much more. And I think they're encumbered by the traditional rule that have been given to them. Most of the pressure put on them by international donors by giving them all kinds of gadgets to stop people from taking drugs across the border, whilst the drugs now remain domesticated. So,
okay, let me ask this question before we go. How can we rehabilitate these victims? Is there what is being done? What is being done to rehabilitate them?
I mean, we run a rehabilitation center. We have 3 centers now, 2 for men and 1 for women. They come in to stay with us 6 months to 1 year. These people just need to be reoriented and then redirected and then repersonalized. I mean, many of them suffer from low self-esteem. So when we help them, we are a faith-based organization.
How do we help them? I mean, especially the society.
The society, look. What I say to society must first of all recognize the reality of drug addiction and problems, and then they must be willing to give a second chance. People cannot live and then you stigmatize them. I think we should stop stigmatization and give them a chance again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dokun Adedeji, for coming on Panorama.
My pleasure, thank you.
All right, we move on to other stories now. The federal government, through the Presidential Enabling Environment Council, is coming up with software applications that will give Nigerians the power to monitor service delivery processes of public agencies. Amechi Powers reports that this is in line with government's resolve to improve on the ease of doing business in Nigeria.
These are the successful young men and women divided into 15 teams, saddled with the responsibility of creating applications to enhance processes of ministries, departments, and agencies of government. The software, when endorsed by government, will reduce, if not eliminate, the bureaucratic constraints to doing business in Nigeria.
The whole idea is how can we have startups actually work for government? How can we have startups drive innovation to government?
These men and women were chosen after a 2-step application and screening process. They were engaged for 2 days in what can be described as a rigorous challenge and came up with applications for the various sectors of the Nigerian economy.
While we are measuring the effect of the reforms internally through Surveycom and other processes, we want the Nigerian public to be able to tell us empirically now where we're working and where things are not working.
At the end of the exercise, Team Rhapsody, emerged winner of the competition and went home with a star prize of 1 million naira.
And we believe that over time we would put in more efforts, of course together with PEPEC and other government agencies, to see that we really have a working solution that Nigerians will be very proud of.
It's not just an app for the sake of the app. The data is aggregated, and we have a firm, also a Nigerian firm, that's working on the analytics. So we will know what is working, what isn't, where it's working, where it isn't, and then we can adjust. So this is going to accelerate the delivery of the reforms of our business climate.
The Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council was established in 2016 to assist MDAs to implement the reform agenda of the present administration. In Lagos, Amechi Pius, NTA News.
Strategies and scientific approaches in tackling the root causes of direct and structured violence that produce refugees and internally displaced persons have been advocated. This was at the 5th Memorial Lecture of African Refugees Foundation in Lagos. Lynn Lenike has the details.
Nigerians over the years have grappled with the issue of refugees both internally and externally. This development, the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees says, emanates from man-made conflicts and natural disasters. The African Refugees Foundation is therefore charting ways to reduce all forms of displacement and production of internally displaced persons and refugees.
We must continue to talk, despite the differences. Nobody would want to be involved in a war. The effects of war are quite evident, and that's globally, you can see that. So no matter how much your next of kin or your neighbor hurts you, you all must come down, get together and try and speak about those differences. So it's very important.
Speakers at the forum are of the opinion that it is imperative to proffer solutions that will ameliorate the condition of refugees, encourage peace, and facilitate development. They urge the younger generation to emulate the legacies of the founder of the African Refugees Foundation, Chief Segun Olushola.
Today, I want to appeal to all Nigerians to please watch what we say. Let us accommodate one another. Let's sue for all.
Let us talk now, peacefully, find out what our differences are, settle the issues, and avoid bloodshed and unpleasant.
The 2017 World Refugees Day is aimed at drawing attention to the plight of refugees. It also provides an opportunity for all to support refugees worldwide. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
And now to sports. Zenith Basketball Women League ends another phase in Delta State as winners emerged in maiden give-and-take lottery game show. Amanzi Marcus reports.